In this video, I will talk about the most common intervention and treatments for PFS, PSSD. Okay, so if you want to reverse post-finasteride syndrome, if you want to reverse post-SSRI sexual dysfunction, post-Neurosteroid, post-lion's mane, watch this video. It will be a very detailed video with many treatment options. I will explain why they should work and why they backfire. Okay, so I have seen more blood tests than any other doctors. Okay, and I also understand the mechanistic behind all these treatments. Okay, so the first thing is androgenic hormonal treatments. Okay, so they have certain flaws because there's not always DHT or testosterone. Okay, we have also dopamine. Okay, that has really great effect on libido, guys. Okay, so it's not only like androgens, because erection can be driven by dopamine and also can be driven by androgens, especially DHT. Okay, so you have always three ways. Okay, we are also talking about oxytocin, we are talking about serotonin receptors. Okay, because serotonin receptors are also affecting, okay, sexual functioning. Okay, so androgenic hormonal treatments. Most likely you heard about TRT, especially injectable testosterone. Okay, it raises serum testosterone, and in perfect scenario it will convert to estradiol and it will convert to DHT. Okay, where is the problem? The problem is if you have low 5-alpha reductase activity in PSSD, PFS, post-Neurosteroid, post-lion's mane. Okay, so most of these testosterone will convert to estradiol. Okay, and we have a problem. Okay, because if you want to have great erection, okay, estradiol should be in certain range. Okay, or ratio between testosterone and estradiol should be in certain range, and plus ratio for DHT, guys. Okay, so not only that, it's like combination all of these three. Okay, so if your 5-alpha reductase activity is low, you will have a lot of estradiol. Okay, so everything about 30, 35, okay, will affect your erection quality a lot. Okay, so also higher estrogen is, from my point of view, is stress hormone. Okay, and it will affect your prolactin. It will more downregulate 5-alpha reductase activity. You can, in long term, you can create even more estradiol. Okay, so that's the problem. Okay, so also TRT will downregulate your own endogenous testosterone production. Okay, so without controlling estradiol, okay, symptoms will worsen. Okay, so guys, before you do anything, okay, do proper test. Okay, if you need my help, so what to test, where to get test, and so on, how to follow based on the test, you will find an email for my coaching. Okay, so right now I'm using this email only for coaching. I really don't have time. I help a lot of guys recently, and honestly I cannot answer any email anymore. Okay, so I also try to make this video so you understand the options. Okay, so controlling estradiol is extremely crucial, guys. Okay, so yeah, so AIs, aromatase inhibitors, will mostly crash you. Okay, so there are much better ways how to control estradiol. Okay, some will work via better liver detoxification, some will work through gut bacteria. Okay, so we can combine different things and improve proper estradiol detoxification. Okay, so like I already talked in other videos, beta glucuronidation can like recycle estradiol. Okay, so you still have high estradiol. Okay, and of course if your DHT will be low, your testosterone will convert more to estradiol pathways. Okay, so that was injectable testosterone. Okay, if you are using topical testosterone or transdermal testosterone, okay, so you will convert more of testosterone to DHT, so it's much better choice. Okay, you can transfer this testosterone to other family members. Okay, if you have kids, wife. Okay, so be careful. Okay, be careful. But if you are using transdermal topical, you have better conversion to DHT. Okay, because in scrotum it's it's much easier to convert testosterone to dihydrotestosterone. Okay, so dihydrotestosterone means better erection, smooth muscle quality in penile tissue, and so on. Okay, more nitric oxide signaling, and so on. Okay, so but it's not only the thing. Okay, so with transdermal testosterone you can even increase serum DHT. Okay, so another things, topical DHT. Okay, so maybe you already seen on Twitter things like DHT gels from alpha gels and so on. Okay, so yeah, the problem is that if you use higher dose, you will suppress yourself. Okay, you also need to take test where is your SHBG, where is your estradiol. DHT blocks estrogen. Okay, so it can lower estrogen. If your estrogen or estradiol is already low, if you put higher doses of DHT, even in the form of topical DHT, you can decrease estradiol even more. Okay, the same with SHBG. Okay, so but guys with high SHBG, high estradiol level, they will have positive effects. Okay, so always it is good to combine topical DHT, for example, with something like HCG. Okay, or even testosterone. Okay, or you can use both like testosterone, injectable testosterone, and like topical DHT. Also, there are another ways you can also use injectable DHT. Okay, so from my point of view, it's better choice like injectable testosterone. Okay, because you upregulate DHT in your body. If DHT is upregulated, also your 5-alpha reductase enzyme is upregulated. Okay, so don't forget why I insist that you need to do test. Okay, for example, if your IGF-1 is low, this feedback loop between DHT and 5-alpha reductase will probably not happen so strong, because IGF-1 is a supporter of this feedback loop. Okay, so it's also really important to increase IGF-1. So another sub-treatment could be also, beside increasing DHT, also increasing IGF-1, guys. Okay, so yeah, HCG. Okay, so HCG will not spike testosterone a lot, but it's quite good for younger guys, or if you don't want to suppress your balls. Okay, so by using just TRT, you will use HCG. Okay, so again, one tip I have mentioned this tip in many other videos. High quality vitamin A should not be synthetic. Okay, so from wheat germ oil, high quality vitamin E will improve the effectiveness of HCG. Okay, so also you need to understand. Okay, so yeah, I heard many times that HCG somehow upregulates 5-alpha reductase enzyme. DHT testosterone, it's probably better choice. Okay, so HCG, yes, it can also upregulate 5-alpha reductase enzyme, but most likely this is not the case. The problem with HCG, as many guys come from the doctors to me that they've been using HCG and they see no results, they feel worse, and so on. And they telling me that they are using something like 3,000 IUs, 5,000 IUs per week. Yeah, they have shit ton of estradiol. Okay, and if the estradiol is high, your erection will be very bad. Okay, so also estradiol will block 5-alpha reductase activity even more. Estradiol can also increase prolactin more. Okay, so HCG, yes, with combination with high quality vitamin E, for example, and definitely in low dose. Also, you can combine this with things like maybe topical DHT, Proviron, and so on, or maybe injectable DHT. Okay, so in injectable DHT, the sources are quite unstable, the same like topical DHT. Okay, so you don't even know if it really has like 10% or 20% DHT. Okay, if it's not just some testosterone gel cream or something, you know. So testosterone cream will also convert to DHT. Yeah, so even DHEA will convert to DHT. Yeah, so but for things like topical DHT, the quality vary a lot. Okay, so there are testing labs like Janoschik where you can check it, but it costs quite a lot. Okay, and you will probably know. Okay, so yeah, there are guys, alpha gels, like I said, will be a little bit concerned about the quality, you know, and all these kind of things. Okay, so but it can definitely help, especially if you apply this locally. Okay, so Pregnenolone DHEA, this combo I see quite often used by doctors. Okay, so it has many advantages, especially for Pregnenolone is neurosteroid precursor for allopregnanolone, GABA A modulation, and so on. Okay, so also DHT can convert, DHEA can convert to DHT. Again, the problem is 5-alpha reductase enzyme. Okay, because for all of that you need 5-alpha reductase enzyme. Okay, guys, always support 5-alpha reductase, zinc, NADPH. You know, so avoid 5-alpha reductase blockers at all. Okay, so yeah, with Pregnenolone, why the backfires? Okay, especially the dose. The dose is important for both Pregnenolone, DHEA. Most of these doctors, they give huge doses, okay, of those. Yeah, and if your 5-alpha reductase is low, for example, DHEA will divert to estradiol, gynecomastia, high E2 symptoms, no help at all. Okay, so also DHEA in higher doses is GABA antagonist. Okay, so also if you raise dopamine and you are not balancing GABA, you will have this irritation from raised dopamine and you will not feel the calming effect. You can have sexual performance anxiety and so on and so on. Okay, so yeah, Pregnenolone, if your baseline cortisol is super high, many guys in PFS, they have really high cortisol. Okay, like you can do blood test for morning cortisol, you can do Dutch test for cortisol. If you put Pregnenolone, and especially higher doses, it will often convert to more cortisol, so more agitation, more insomnia. Right now, you know. Okay, so Proviron can help with if you have some genetic problems with androgen receptors. Okay, there are studies on this. It's a DHT derivatives. Okay, so it can lower SHBG if your SHBG is already high. It can also mildly lower estradiol. Okay, so but if you don't do the test, your estradiol is on the lower end, your SHBG is on the lower end, and you take higher doses of Proviron, you will mess up. Okay. Of course, Proviron, in order to see results, you need to take it like 4 to 6 months. Really. Okay, so it's also like transdermal testosterone. Okay, most of the guys, they don't see results maybe like after 1 or 2 or 3 months. Okay, I have seen many guys that have seen results after 5, 6, even 12 months. Okay, so there must be some, you know, steady change in your body. Okay, dehydroboldenone. Okay, the problem is that most of these coaches recommend higher doses, and this can crush estradiol. Okay, I have seen many guys that are using this as a solo therapy, and like I said, if this will crash estrogen, then you have poor libido, erection. Okay, we need like proper estradiol levels. Okay, so also the binding affinity to androgen receptors is high, but probably it's not the optimal things if you have androgen receptor silencing. Okay, so we already talk about topical DHT. Okay, Antractim, alpha gals. Okay, this is a direct DHT boost. Okay, so even serum boost. Okay, it bypasses 5-alpha reductase bottleneck. Okay, so locally, like I said, restores penile smooth muscle, erectile tissue. Okay, so like I said, my doubts will be about the quality of the products. Okay, so halotestin. Okay, so this is a potent non-aromatizing androgens. Okay, so and it has strong membrane androgen receptor activation. Okay, it bypasses the androgen receptors genetic silencing. Okay, and these transcription problems. Okay, so it should be used as a kickstart. It works in proper dose for using only for short time. It can be very, very helpful. Okay, so but it's hepatotoxic. You can have mood instability and so on. Okay, so it also does not fix mitochondrial health. Okay, so watch till the end because I will also talk about this. This is extremely crucial. Okay, so Tribulus, herbal testosterone boosters. Okay, so some are pretty great at helping. Okay, guys that are more like, would say, sensitive to natural things. Okay, Bulgarian Tribulus can raise DHEA. Okay, can lower prolactin in like 60% of guys, can lower prolactin significantly. That's good sign for PSSD, even PFS. Okay, so more likely it will boost testosterone in older guys. In younger guys, it has probably better effect on DHT, DHEA, okay, and prolactin. Okay, so for some guys can cause irritability. Okay, so you need to know how to cycle it. Okay, so don't abuse it, cycle it, otherwise you will run into problems. Okay, so this is only one part. Like I said, you also need to support 5-alpha reductase enzyme activity. Okay, vascular nitric oxide boosters. Okay, so yeah, if your DHT is low, you have low nitric oxide signaling. Okay, if you have high serotonin, okay, it will block your nitric oxide. Okay, so you need to boost it. Okay, so yeah, normally you will take arginine or citrulline and you think that's it. Okay, but most likely if your nitric oxide synthase is uncoupled, also because of the bad mitochondrial health, you will produce a lot of peroxynitrites, you will produce a lot of inflammatory iones. Okay, and you're doing more harm than good. Okay, if you decide to use citrulline and arginine, they are effective at raising nitric oxide, but you also need to use things like antioxidants. Okay, so even agmatin is really great for like improving enos, the boner molecule. Okay, so pycnogenol, you really need to cycle it. I tried. I have many experience with pycnogenol, great thing, but can lower 5-alpha reductase enzyme in long term. Okay, so enos expression may be also epigenetically repressed. Okay, and then boosters don't work like citrulline and all other arginine. Okay, boosters. Okay, citrulline is probably more effective than arginine. Agmatin is the next level. Nitrosigine, or what is the name, is also like better version of arginine, and you can also have AKG. It's also better version of arginine. Okay, so yeah, mitochondrial dysfunction, this happens mostly in PSSD, but I have seen this also in some PFS guys. If you are using sodium valproate, stay away, okay? So because it will worsen sexual dysfunction in long term, okay? So it has liver stress, okay? And it's really bad mitochondrial toxin, okay? So inhibits complex 1, and it can do carnitine depletion, okay? So I will definitely stay away from valproate, okay? So estrogen treatment, yeah, why some try it, okay? Maybe low E2 is the problem, so they will give estradiol, okay? Backfires if you have high estradiol, your erection quality is really bad, more prolactin feminization, okay? So I don't even talk about this treatment because I think it's a stupid idea. Probably if your estradiol is very, very low, then you can think about it, okay? But there are also better things how you can raise your estradiol, okay? So neurosteroid and brain-targeted intervention, glycine, okay? So glycine increase 5-alpha reductase enzyme in your brain, okay? So, but it's also co-agonist at NMDA, okay? So too much of NMDA will create excitotoxicity, anxiety, insomnia. Therefore, glycine plus something that will lower glutamate, have better effect on GABA, okay? Something maybe like taurine, okay? So, yeah, PEA, PPAR agonist, lower neuroinflammation, can raise allopregnenolone, okay? So, guys, 4, 5, 6 months, okay? So not like I will take for 1 month and it works. No. From experience, also from what I know from other doctors, like 4, 5, 6 months, okay? So yeah, bioavailability is concerning for me, okay? So yeah, at higher doses it can have too sedative effect, okay? So there is also topical allopregnenolone, okay, so poor systemic absorption, tolerance or paradoxical agitation, okay, use sparingly, it's quite expensive, okay, it directly restored missing GABAergic neurosteroids, okay, more likely what you want to do is to increase the conversion, okay, so you need enough substrate like DHEA for neurosteroids, pregnenolone. You need proper 5-alpha reductase activity, especially also in your tissue like brain, glycine, and so you need to restore. It will take time, okay, guys? So it will take definitely time, okay? Glutamate overload, this is quite common. So chronic glutamate elevation will create excitotoxicity, neuroinflammation, and will downregulate GABA, okay? So that happened to me. So hyperexcited but low dopamine state, you need to lower glutamate, okay? So most guys use medical intervention or some specific supplements. It will backfire because you will have this rebound effect. So much better way is to use things like taurine, okay, things like L-theanine, okay, and so on, yeah? Yeah, like I said, most treatments fail because they ignore enzyme bottlenecks, okay? So low 5-alpha reductase enzyme, okay? Then you have high E2, low allo DHT, okay? There is also epigenetic repression, okay? So there is also overlooked mitochondrial dysfunction, okay? So if you have really bad mitochondrial health, you will not produce enough androgens itself, okay? So also for like dopamine, if you want to increase dopamine sensitivity, okay, you need to have proper mitochondrial health, okay? So yeah, most guys overlook hormonal imbalance, okay? They are not checking on high estradiol, prolactin, and cortisol, okay? Cortisol will also, if you have, I have seen it many times, guys that have very high cortisol can have low pregnenolone, okay, because they fight for the same, okay, cholesterol, yeah. So yeah, also why androgen receptors and nitric oxide synthase get silenced, okay, there is a DNA methylation, okay, so less gene transcription, okay, oxidative stress and low NADPH. NADPH helps boost 5-alpha reductase activity and is androgen receptors cofactor for signaling, okay. Inflammation, in many guys, okay, so high homocysteine, for example, high homocysteine, gluten sensitivity, it all can blocks, you know, your way to recovery, okay. So also, like I said, mitochondrial dysfunction, okay. So for epigenetic reprogramming, you can use things like AKG. I talk about this in many videos, okay. It's a cofactor for TET enzymes, okay, and promotes DNA demethylation, okay. So it will also take time, yeah. So I will not tell you nice words, but it will also take a time, okay. So for everything, okay, quality of supplements matter, okay. If you need my help, you will find a link for my coaching in the description. Quality of the supplements will make a difference. Many supplements are fake, especially for things like AKG and so on, okay. So even for other things, okay. So I can recommend the best sources, okay. So butyrate in your from diet, it helps you in many things, okay. So I really don't want to go more in details, but for example, if your butyrate is high, you can also have a higher level of active vitamin D, because also many guys with PFS, this happened also to me, very low levels of vitamin D, okay. So yeah, it's also natural HDAC inhibitor, okay. You can use kestones, for example, to boost butyrate, okay. So yeah, also androgen receptors reactivation, topical DHT, Proviron, halotestin, okay. So also boosting IGF-1, okay. IGF-1 enhances IR sensitivity and transcription. Keep your estradiol in check, okay, because estradiol will block androgen receptor signaling, okay. So use butyrate like HDAC inhibitors, because it will unlock androgen receptor gene expression, okay. And for enos, you have really great things like taurine, okay. So like I said, AKG boost BH4, okay. So Agmantin is also great for balancing serotonin to dopamine, okay. There are also other things like red light and so on, yeah. So guys, that's it. Spread this video with guys that probably need this, and yeah, that's it. Let me tell what you think.